YSL actually had previously claimed to be members of Rock Crew.
All right, so let's bring back in our guest. Still with me, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Sudi Chada-Jimenez, and want to welcome in civil attorney Ted Spaulding. Great to have you both here. Thank you so much for being in the studio with me. This is a real treat. Sudi, I want to pick up kind of where we left off. You were taking us to school on the law, and it's really fascinating because you were saying, by definition, 3 or more people with a common, affiliation, whether it's like Greek letters from a sorority or fraternity, could be technically a gang, but whether a gang is criminal is another question, and that means, are they committing crimes to further the gang, fund the gang, and do terrible things? And that's what's being alleged here against YSL. So if my understanding of your position is correct, you would agree that YSL is a gang, but the question for the jury is, are they doing criminal activity?
Exactly. I mean, the reality is that a lot of people that are in the indictment have done criminal activity in the past. And a lot of that criminal activity could be considered a criminal gang activity. However, there still needs to be a nexus. There needs to be a connection. The crime you committed that falls under those categories of crimes that gangs do was done in furtherance of the gang. And like Attorney Max Sharp did, he did a great job in saying, yes, my client used to be a drug dealer, but he did it for the green. He did it for the dollar green. He sold the bud green for the dollar green, not for a gang. Because he needed money. He needed to feed his family. He needed to feed himself.
Right.
He needed to have money for studio time. That is not in furtherance of the gang. There are gangs that have structure, and you are a Blood or a Crip or a Latin King or whatever, and you need to put in work, and you need to pay dues. They literally have dues, and they got books, and they check, and hey, you owe us. You didn't pay February, or you're back 3 months. You need to pay up. They are structured, and that's what gangs are. But then when you don't fall under that definition, Belknap said, well, you're not a traditional one, so now you're a hybrid one. So you're always going to be a criminal gangbanger no matter what, because there's a definition, and if we don't like that definition, then you're the other one. And it is frustrating, and it is problematic, because what that means to me, I don't care. We're going to prosecute you as a gang member no matter what, whether you fall under one definition or we'll make up another one. We're going to make you criminal street gang.
Wow. I know this case has you heated. You have a lot to say about it, and it's fantastic. And I don't want to lump all the defendants in as committing the same crimes, because that's not what the allegation is. All of the situations are very different, as you both know. Ted, let's talk about Young Thug, because of course he's the focus. He's the famous one. To Sudi's point, sometimes people do get involved in gang activity because of a need for money, and we know, as this expert was telling us, it could be family, it could be just camaraderie, different reasons. Maybe you're kind of just born into that lifestyle. Maybe your parents were gang members. Who knows what the situation is. But for Young Thug, he didn't need money. I mean, this guy, his attorney said in open, he's amassed a fortune of tens of millions of dollars through all of the records that he sold. Talk to me, Ted, about how you think that fact may work in his favor here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good argument, right? He's got several good arguments, and that's certainly one of them. What they have to do is show he is the head of this organization. What I like to, it brings me back to the Gotti trial. Right?
Oh, yes. I just watched a great doc on that on Netflix.
I did too. That's what brought me up to it.
Yes.
And that's what they're trying to prove here. He's John Gotti that is directing all of these people. And to your point, if this member is selling drugs, is the money somehow flowing back to the organization itself? So this argument that you bring up, that the defense brought up, is why does he need to be the head of this gang? He's out winning Grammys, making tens of millions of dollars. He does not need to do it for the money. These other, what prosecution's saying is the lower members of the gang, they may be doing street crimes, but they're doing it for themselves. They're selling drugs for themselves to make money for themselves. They're not kicking it back up to the higher ups of the organization, which is what the prosecution has to prove, that this is some mob, John Gotti mob type organization. And that is a lot of evidence that you need to show to a jury to prove that you've got this RICO style organization set up.
Definitely.
Where's the structure? Where's the, the money flowing back? I'm just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. We have to look at the individual conduct of all of these actors, and you're right. They haven't got into that. They kind of set the stage with that gang expert, which probably is a good idea because most people on the jury, right? You guys, if you're not in criminal court every day, Sudi, I bet you've come close to understand, like a gang expert. You may not have ever been qualified as an expert in court like some of these cops, but from handling these cases, I mean, it's a whole different, it's like a different language when you read things and you hear. So that's good. They're setting the stage, and then we'll see, as you said, Ted, if they can tie everybody into what they've charged them with. I'm so glad we have you both here. Stand by. We're going to hit a break as we're at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we're going to go live to the Fulton County Courthouse, get you an update as we're getting ready for trial to begin on day 3. There is Young Thug in his turtleneck. It's a chilly morning in Atlanta, Georgia. He is dressed for the weather and ready to go and hear the evidence being brought against him and the 5 others. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. We are waiting for the start of the trial of rapper Young Thug and 5 others who are being accused of running a violent street gang in Atlanta. Let's take you live to the Fulton County Courthouse where things are happening. There's a look inside the courtroom. Got a peek at the seal there in the great state of Georgia. That's where this one is happening, folks. And it is a record label, YSL, and the prosecution is saying, oh, but it also was a violent street gang. And so it's going to be up to the jury to decide